Good morning. Happy Saturday. How is everyone feeling today? Alive. That's
Beautiful.
good. So, my name is Andrea. I teach Saturday morning classes here at the Heights. If this is your first class, welcome. And if it's not, welcome back. Today we're going to have a little flowy flow that will depend on y'all's energy. So from a scale to 0, let's get back to bed, to 10, we're running a marathon. Where are we at?
20.
You don't count.
6:35.
Okay. 8. Whew. Okay. Okay, cool. We'll see how that goes. So let's just begin by laying down on our backs, starting to settle in.
I'm settled.
Using your breath as a guide.
Sometimes you stretch and you just got to make a noise. So that was.
Start relaxing the crown of your head, your forehead. So a couple important things before we begin. Number 1, always listen to your body. Only you know what's going on in your body. If there's anything that I'm cueing that does not feel right, back out. We'll find a modification for it. And number 2, this little rectangle below you is your space to flow and connect with your breath, your energy. So again, if there's anything that I'm cueing that doesn't feel right, feel free to just allow yourself to let your breath and your body to just go into any movement, any pose that you feel like it. Let's all take a deep breath in through our nose and exhale it out. Deep breath in through our nose, holding it at the top, and exhale, release. Guiding your breath through your body to relax all those spots that just feel maybe a little bit tight today. In today's class, I wanted to touch on a topic that's kind of been on my mind of like this weird energy that has been going on for the month of March. And I think it's a feeling that many of us might be experiencing. Kind of like a sensation that everything is happening all at the same time, but it's like nothing seems to be moving. Like you feel you're sprinting through quicksand with so much effort, but maybe there's no clear forward motion. And as I was reading, March brings an energy actually of initiation and not destination. So it's like an energetic getaway that asks you to release, realign, so you can prepare for what is coming rather than actually pushing towards an endpoint. Let's take a deep inhale through our nose and exhale out. It may feel a little all over the place because our minds crave clarity. They crave outcomes. But the invitation, as always, is just to trust the process of becoming. You might feel you're facing old timelines, old patterns. Maybe you're questioning your identity, things that once felt safe, but just simply no longer resonate with who you're becoming. So let's release that version of ourselves that we once had in our head that might be just a little too small for where we're heading. Inhaling deeply through the nose, holding it at the top. Take a little bit more air in, hold it, and release. What are you ready to release so you can step fully into the next version of yourself? Starting to slowly bring back some movement in our bodies. Swiggle those fingers and toes. Let's take arms overhead, maybe tickling the feet of the person right behind you. Bringing knees towards our chest and giving them a big, big hug. Perhaps even allowing our body to slightly rock side to side. And slowly rocking front to back until we find ourselves in a seated position. Taking a big inhale, bringing those hands up towards the sky, palms connect as we exhale, release. Let's start to warm up our bodies from top to bottom. So let's just begin with very gentle neck rolls. Perhaps even just starting bringing one ear over to one side and then the other. Maybe going around in one direction and on to the other. Gazing all the way up. And bringing that chin to chest all the way down. Coming back through center, let's take that right hand over to the left side, perhaps even using our left as a guide or help for a little extra stretch. Your other left. But it's usually me, so. And breathe. And coming on to the other side. Coming back through the center, staying in our crisscross applesauce pose that we're in. Taking an inhale and allowing our chest just to start melting down. Walking those hands back up. Now we're gonna cross our legs in the other direction. So if your right foot is at the front, we're bringing it to the back. Taking a deep inhale and falling forward. And you'll realize one of your sides is just weird. It might be this one, it might be the other one. And breathe. Very slowly walking those hands back up as we extend our legs, maybe giving them a little shake. Taking a big inhale, reaching forward as we fall forward. Remembering it's less about where you're reaching. So the goal is not, oh, I can reach my feet. It's keeping that back flat, just starting to melt forward. And where you're at, that's exactly where you're meant to be. Slowly coming back up. Let's bring those feet behind and meet at a tabletop position.
The tabletop.
So let's stack our knees below our hips, those wrists below our shoulders, and just take the moment to start making any movements that maybe your body is asking for, perhaps closing your eyes or softening your gaze down to the mat. And just really tuning in with your body and your breath. Maybe swaying side to side or looping around in one direction. Whatever feels nice in your body right now. Remembering to connect to that breath. And on your next exhale, coming to a neutral tabletop, and let's flow through some cats and cows together. So as we inhale, we open up our chest, look up, belly drops. Exhale, we push away from that mat, curl our backs, perhaps even gaze through the thighs. Inhaling up. Exhale, curl. So allowing your body to just flow through some cats and cows. Let's see. Thank you. And on our next exhale, meeting at that neutral tabletop, planting that left hand, right hand rises up. We're going to be threading the needle over towards the left. Multiple options here for that left palm. It can stay right where it's at. Perhaps extend it all the way to the outer corner of that mat. Maybe take a bind behind your back. anything that feels right. And breathe.
Try to do this wide leg.
And slowly coming back up. Bringing that right hand back towards the sky and down to our mat. Planting down that right hand, left hand rises up, and we thread the needle over towards the right side of our mat. And again, all the multiple options for that right palm, where it can stay right where it's at, or make its way to the outer corner of your mat, behind your back for a bind. Coming back into that tabletop. Let's drop those hips all the way back and into a child's pose. Option here to extend those knees, bring those knees as far out wide as possible on our mat. And then from there, allowing our chest to drop. Let's walk those hands in our child's pose all the way to the right corner of our mat. Coming back through the center. And on to the other side. Coming back through the center. Raising those hips back into that tabletop pose. We're going to be tucking our toes, lifting off our knees from our mat, and very gently extending those legs, bringing hips up in space for a downward facing dog. Taking the moment to perhaps pedal or walk that dog, so making little bends in opposite knees, perhaps even swaying hips from side to side, just finding a deeper stretch. Gazing forward to the top of our mat, let's walk or hop our feet all the way to the top and meet at a forward fold, allowing all that upper body just to hang heavy. Perhaps even grabbing opposite elbows for a ragdoll pose. Maybe swaying hips gently side to side. Nodding your head yes or nodding your head no. And very, very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, starting to rise up. Allowing your head to be the very last to come up. Taking a deep breath in through our nose. And exhale it out. One more big, deep inhale through the nose. And exhale it out. Inhaling, hands come up towards the sky, perhaps even taking a little peek back as we fall forward on our exhale.
Ooh.
Lifting up halfway, so creating that flat back. Palms come below or above our knees. And falling forward one more time. Taking a bend to those knees as much as needed so our palms can meet the mat, and stepping or hopping back into a high plank or dropping those knees for a supported plank. We're going to move through a chaturanga, so we shift our weight all the way forward, coming down halfway, bringing that chest for our upward facing dog, raising our hips for our downward facing dog. Right leg rises up for that three-legged dog. Taking a little bend to that knee, kind of opening up with hip circles in one direction. And then to the other. Planting that foot at the top of our mats and dropping that back knee, rising up for our runner's lunge. Bringing those hands out to a cactus. So we're gonna inhale, reaching back. As we exhale, extend that front leg. So we're kind of doing cats and cows as we move through our runner's lunge and our half split. So inhale, we open up, knee is bent. Exhale, extend that knee, coming down. And one more time. Inhale, up, open over that chest. Exhale, extend it out. Coming back to that runner's lunge. Let's shift that foot out to the right side of our mat. The back leg can stay where it's at for a supported lizard, or you can tuck your toes, extend that back knee for a full lizard. Options here, staying right where you're at, maybe adding some movement, rocking front to back, side to side, perhaps grabbing that right palm to that right knee, very gently pressing. Wherever you're at in your lizard, let's bring that foot back in between the palms of our hands. This time dropping down the left foot and opening up for a warrior two. And breathe. Reaching forward and reverse. You know, class is packed when we can high five, Jody. And moving back to that warrior two. This time as we reach forward, we're gonna come into an extended side angle. So let's bring that right arm above our right leg. Backhand tries to grab the front. Option here to drop that right hand down, or maybe take a bind behind your back, trying to reach through. Dropping both hands to the front of the mat. Let's square off our chest. Slowly lifting up that back leg, extending the right knee into a half split. Left leg drops down and falling forward. I love the somatic movements, Lauren. Very, very slowly rising back up. Taking a few rounds of inhales and exhales. Inhaling, hands come up towards the sky. Exhale, falling forward. Lifting up halfway. And falling forward one more time. Taking a bend to those knees as much as needed so the palms of our hands can meet our mat, and stepping or hopping back into a high plank or supported plank. Moving through a chaturanga or meeting at a downward facing dog. Dropping our knees to our mat, bringing those hips back into our child's pose or extended child's pose with those knees far out wide on your mat, and then allowing your chest to drop. Lifting up those hips back into our tabletop, and walking our hands all the way out, dropping our chest for a puppy pose. And slowly walking those hands back, tucking our toes and meeting back at that downward facing dog. This time, left leg rises up for that three-legged dog, taking the option to do little circles in one direction, opening up those hips. And on to the other. Planting that left foot at the top of our mat and dropping that back knee as we rise up for our runner's lunge. So moving through those cats and cows that we did, we're going to inhale, open up that chest. And as we exhale, we come down, send that front knee.
See, I don't like this because I have to keep readjusting.
Woo. Bending that knee, inhaling up. And exhale, extending that leg. And once more. Inhale. And exhale. Shifting that weight forward, let's bring the palms of our hands to the right side of our mat, setting up for that lizard or supported lizard. So your knee can stay right where it's at, or tucking that toe, extending that back leg for our full lizard pose.
Always roll on the pinky
And as
toe.
always, we can shift front to back, side to side. Maybe try coming down on your forearms. Anything that feels right in your body.
Pancakes. Waffles.
Wiggling that foot in between the palms of our hands. Let's drop that back foot as we open up for our warrior two. Shifting that weight all the way forward and reverse. Coming back through that warrior two. As we shift forward, we're coming into that side angle pose. So again, our forearm can be gently on that front knee. We're coming all the way down, or perhaps with that left arm, bringing it under and binding. If you are in that bind, releasing that as we bring our chest square to the front of our mat, maybe taking a little hop forward, planting those palms at the top of the mat, slowly lifting up our back leg, extending that left for our half split. Right leg comes down as we fall forward. Planting those hands at the top of our mat and stepping or hopping back into a high plank. Dropping those knees to our mat, bringing hips back once again into our child's pose. Taking that moment to reconnect back to that breath. Perhaps taking a sip of water. And when you're ready, meeting back at a downward facing dog. Right leg rises up. Let's plant that right foot at the top of our mat. Dropping the left foot, opening back up for that warrior two. We all flex, so we take the screenshot for that thumbnail. Shifting that weight forward and reverse. Coming back to our warrior two. So this time, instead of moving to that side angle, we're going to be moving through a half moon and revolved half moon. Those are our peak poses of the day.
I need to see it.
You will. So let's ground from that top foot. Take a little step forward. Right hand comes to the right outer corner of our mat. We can stay right here or start bringing that back leg all the way up.
Oh, hello. Look who came around.
Did you pay for this? Left hand reaches all the way up to the sky.
You just can't
Perhaps
be
even
overt.
rotating that chest over, opening up towards the left.
I'm here
This
for it.
is our half moon.
Ooh.
Yeah, bringing both hands down to our mat. So back to that half split that we did earlier. Now for the revolved half moon, we're going to be grounding from that left palm. Right hand rises up, opening up our chest over to the right. Holding on to your friend so you can make it. Dropping those hands down to the mat, stepping our feet back into a high plank and back into our child's pose. Got a little warm. Yeah, strip down, girl.
Down day.
I'm telling you, I got warm. People are like, fortunately, we only got one more side of the body, so meeting back at that downward facing dog.
Stoy Dordo.
Left leg rises up. Plant that left foot at the top of our mats, dropping our back foot, opening up for our warrior two. Reaching forward and reverse. Moving back to our warrior two. So prepping for that half moon. Taking a little step forward. Let's ground from that top foot. Left hand comes to the left outer corner of our mat. Lifting up right leg, extending left knee. Right hand comes all the way up. Let's bring both hands down towards our mat. And this time, grounding from that right, left hand comes up. Bringing hands and feet back into a forward fold. Planting those palms at the top of our mat, stepping back into a high plank, moving through a chaturanga or meeting at a downward facing dog. Right leg rises up. Let's bring that right knee towards our right hand, dropping it, setting up for everyone's favorite, our pigeon, which means class is over. Finally. Well, y'all were out like, I'm at an 8.
I'm still here.
I know. You guys are still breathing. That's good. You can stay up here or drop that chest all the way down into our resting pigeon pose.
Penn Island.
Almost resting my pigeon on Jody.
Bring it.
Had to take a few steps back.
You could do partner pigeon.
Exactly.
How it play?
I don't know. Is it a deeper stretch?
It feels like a nice stretch in my shoulder when we do it.
Right.
That stretch.
Slowly bringing those hands back up, tucking that back toe, moving through that fancy way of coming back through that three-legged dog, dropping our foot, left leg rises up, setting up for that pigeon on the other side, dropping that knee. And again, options to stay up here or allow our chest to come all the way down. Slowly coming all the way up, bringing those legs forward. Take a little butterfly pose, connecting the soles of our feet together. Sending that back as we inhale, and as you exhale, falling all the way forward. And slowly coming back up, making our way to our backs. And just as we started, bringing those knees to our chest for a big, big hug. Allowing those knees to drop all the way over to the right side of the mat.
Okay, this is what I like to do. Hips over, and then
Hands can come extended out. And breathe. Coming back through the center and onto the other side. Coming back through the center. Perhaps giving those knees once more a big, big hug. And taking the moment to do any final pose or movement that your body is asking for. Or perhaps that is no movement at all. And when you're ready, bringing those hands out, down, extended on our mats, extending those legs. And just as we started, using our breath as a guide, I'm going to be walking around with some lavender essential oil to place on the palms of your hands. Let's take a deep, deep inhale together and hold it at the top. And exhale it out. Inhale through the nose. Hold it. Take another sip of air in. Hold it. And exhale. We're going to do that one more time. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose and hold it at the top. Take a little bit more air in. A little bit more. Hold it. And exhale. to bring back some movement into our bodies. Perhaps wiggling those fingers. Wiggling our toes. Bringing those knees back towards our chest. Allowing them to drop all the way to the right side of our mat. Perhaps creating a little pillow with your palms, rest your head. Taking a few deep inhales and exhales. And when you're ready, very slowly coming back to a seated position. Do not dare. You will be banned from class. Let's take one last big inhale together, bringing those hands up towards the sky. Exhale it down. Thank you all for being here. I hope you had a lovely morning stretch. From my heart to yours, namaste.
Namaste.